Hello my friends and welcome back to David Media. In the last video, we have implemented the user sign-up function. Today, we will continue with the user authentication. Let's navigate to the backend and open the schema file. We're gonna create a new query for user login. So we have login in the query and the parameter would be email and password. And in here, we have the login payload. And then we also have the query for user authentication. And the return type would be the user. And let's define the schema for login payload. We have user and the token with string. Then let's open the user resolver. We're gonna add a login query here. It will be an async function, and we have parent and the argument. So we will receive the email and password from the arguments. And then we will find the user by the email. User file one email. If user not found, we will throw an error. Authentication error. User not found. Otherwise, we will check the password matching. Then await decrypt.compare. We compare the password from input and password from the user in the database. If password not match, we will throw an error. Authentication error. Incorrect password. And then we have the token generated, JWT sign. We will encrypt the user, then email, first name, then last name. We will encrypt the user information in the token using JSON Web Token. And we also provide the secret key. We have to put it in the environment file, but in here, just for quick, I will put the secret key here. We can make it in any string like JWT, SK, 1, 2, 3, something like that. And the next parameter would be the expire time. Let's put it 24 hours. And finally, we will return user and token. And next, we will have another query for user authentication. It's also an async function. We have parent and argument. And then we have context. Put it in the try catch block. Throw new error. And in here we will check if the user in the context. If not, we will throw an error. Authentication failed. Please sign in. Otherwise, we will find the info of the user. Let's await user file by ID. We have context. So let's bring the user from the context. Here we just push user ID. And if user info file, we return user info. Otherwise, we also throw an error. Just move the dock here. Okay, and that's pretty much. Then in the server folder, let's create middleware folder. And we create an auth.js file. We use this middleware to check the token from the header. So we have JWT require JSON web token. Then we have module exploit. Then context. We have let token. And let's check the token in the header. We will check in the header authorization. Context, request headers, authorization, and we have to split the authorization period, and we get the first element after split. If token found, we will verify using JWT is the select key. And let's go back to the user resolver and copy, then we paste here, and we will receive error, the decoded token. After that, we will put the user in the context with the decoded token. And finally, we return the context. And next, we go back to the index.js file in the server folder. We will post the authentication middleware in our Graphql server. We have auth middleware from middleware auth. And in the upload server, we will put the context with the auth middleware. Okay, and let's start it in banana kpub. We will have query login. We have ID and first name, and in here we have token. Email would be David, and password. I run it, and we have the user information and the token here. So let's copy this token and paste it in the header authorization. Then we have query of user of ID, first name, email, and we run. Okay, and we have the user of here. Okay, and now let's implement it in the front end. I go back to the code editor and navigate to the client. Let's open the user in the Graphql folder. We're gonna add query for login. GQL. We have user field fragment, and then query. The parameter will be email and the password. We have login, and then we paste the parameter here, password, and here is the return. Have user fields and then the token. And next we have another query for user of. This is also user fields fragment, and we have query user of return also user fields fragments. And let's create a slide folder in Redux folder. And in here, we create user.js file. Let's import create slide from Redux.js toolkit. We have the initial state, the auth is no, and then we have export const user slide, and we use create slides. The slide name would be user initial state reducers. We have sets off, and it's taking state and action. Then we set the state of is action dot payload. And now let's export the action. We also export select off from the state users off, and we also export default user slide reducer. And then in the Redux folder, we also create the config store for the Redux. Let's import configure store from Redux.js toolkit. And we also import user reducer from slides user. And then we export default config store. The reducer would be user reducer. And next, let's open the index.js file. We will import store from Redux config store, and we also import provider from React Redux. And let's grab the component in the store provider. And now let's open the user action file to define the login and authentication action. We will bring the login and user off from Graphql user. And in here, we will have const login use lazy query. And then we have user login async function. We have data, and then let's have respawn array login. The variable would be data. So if respawn data login, we will set item in the local storage. We put the token here. And then dispatch action set off to the respawn data login user. So let's import action select off from slide user. And we also import view dispatch and use selector from React Redux. we have dispatch from use dispatch. And let's select the auth state using use selector. And we put the select auth here. And now we have user auth query. So let's put here query. Use lazy query user auth, and then we create the action for user auth. Async we have the response. Await user auth query. If response dot data dot user auth, we will dispatch the action. Set of response data dot user auth. Okay, and let's also create another action for logout. Okay, in the logout action, we will clear the token in the local storage. Remove item token, and then we dispatch action. Set of is node. And finally, let's return login user auth and logout. User login. Okay, and next we need to set up the Apollo client for authentication. Let's import access context from Apollo client. Link context. And in here we will have auth link, then access context, async underscore headers. Then we get the token from the local storage, and then we return the headers with the token. Authorization token. We have bearer, then the token. Otherwise, just empty string. And then we will join the auth link with the HTTP link. And next we're gonna create a new folder in SIC folder. It's components. And in here, let's create a new component, auth route. So we're gonna check the authentication for every page. So let's import use effect from React. Also import navigate from React Router and import use user from user actions. This component receive props, and then let's bring user of action and off from use user. And then we have use effect. We're gonna get the token from local storage. If the token is exist, we're gonna call the user of action. And if the current page is an authentication page and the auth information is null, we will navigate the user back to the login page. And if the page is just for the guest user, but the authentication info is exist, then we navigate the user to the home page. Otherwise, we just return prop children, which is the current page. And next, let's create a new container, which is page. We create a login page. Let's import some component from undesign. We have button, row, column, and form, and input. And so import link from React Router and import use user from user action. And we have form from use form. And then we have user login action from use users. And here we have row justify center. We have column. Let's make it responsive, and we have h2 login. So in here we have form, layout would be vertical. In the class name, we have custom form class. And we have form item. Name would be email, and label is email. And this would be an input component. And now let's copy, and we have password. This is input password. And then we have form item. For the login button, type primary, shape is round, and HTTP type is submit. class name, we have shadow small, login, and we have the link. If the user don't have passwords, and they can click here to go to the sign up page. Make it margin left is fine. Create a new account, and let's define the shadow small in app.css file. Okay, let's go back to the login page. So in the form, we have unfinished event. So we will handle submit event. Handle submit is receive value from the form, and we call the user login action and put the values which is email and password. Okay, that's it. Okay, let's open the app.js file. We're gonna import login from container login, and we also import out route component from component out route. The sign up page, we will wrap it in the out route component. This is the guest route. Then I have the login route. This is also guest, and just replace it with login. And then we have the home page. This is authenticated route, and this is home. So we will create another container is home. So just go to home page and save it. Now let's import home from container home. Let's save the file and we open the web browser. So we have the login page here, and let's log in with build@gmail.com. Just open the inspect and click on it. So we have login successful, but we cannot go to the home page. Let's check on the Redux tool. So we have the user off here. So it's probably we're gonna have to check on the user action. We have login. Okay, we haven't returned the off state. That's why we cannot go to the home page. And now we are in the home page, which is we already logged in successfully. Okay, and let's go back to the code editor. We will continue with the logout function. we will import user from user action, and let's import page header from undesign. And in here we will have page header title would be hello of first name. We have extra which is the button. On click, we will handle logout. The shape would be round. Class name, we have shadow small. This is the logout button. We have style. Let's set the background color for this button. And now let's create a function for handle logout. We bring the auth and logout from new user. Okay, let's save the file and we go back to the web browser. We have the page title here, which is display the first name, and when I click on logout, let's navigate to the login page. So that's pretty much for the user authentication. Thank you for watching and see you in my next video.